Hey everybody, thought I'd walk you through my setup because I know that I've seen some really nice systems and I've been really excited to kind of see what everybody else has got going on. But I wanted to show you mine more so because it's more of a budget build than it is one of the high-end systems. It still sounds incredible in my mind, but I think it was important for me to share it with you just because A, I'm a new member who's also learning, but B, because there's probably a lot of people out there that may not want to or may be leery to share their setups just because of the fact that they don't have those high-end systems with the really expensive or elaborate setups. And so I wanted to share mine just to kind of break down that barrier and kind of introduce to you what can be done with a low-end budget. Now my particular setup, it is a dedicated room. I was fortunate enough to be able to set up a dedicated theater room just because we had a room that didn't have any windows in it, and as you know, we can't really classify it as a bedroom, so it was a perfect opportunity. So the first thing that we're looking at here is some baffling that we had done. This is a first reflection point for the front firing speakers as well as the center firing speakers. That's why it's so wide. And then if we look over to this side, oh, I've actually got it on right now, so we have to hit it from a different angle. Got a Xenda 1080p. It's not 4K, and it has a really loud fan. I had to do some work on it because it got some sheetrock dust in it, and I discovered that it actually has 3 fans in it, which is why it's so loud. But it puts out a really good quality picture, and when the volume's turned up, the sound of the fan actually kind of goes away, so it's not really much of an issue. It's a new setup, so concession stand isn't quite done yet. Kind of come back to that. We'll start out with the system itself. If we look at the actual receiver, was able to get this on clearance at RC Willys. Got a Pioneer Elite SC LX 502. I was able to pick it up for a really good deal because the 503 just barely came out. I think I got it for about $450. It was retailing at $900. Below that, you see the PS3, primarily for playing Blu-rays or DVDs. And then sitting on top of that is a Android box. It's a small rocket. Not sure if it's 4K capable, but I'm not quite ready for 4K yet anyway, so it has a really good quality for what I have currently in my existing setup. And then I've also got the Roku. You can't really see it right now, but it's sitting on top, right in there, hidden away. And it's Roku Express, also not quite 4K, but it goes up to 1080p, which is what I'm currently running right now, so it works out just fine. And then as you move into my system, we've got my speakers. Got the, this actually is a DIY. It's the infamous Media Labs or Media Genesis Labs white minivan surround sound speakers. But what I did is I did a little bit of a DIY setup with it. Took 2 of the speakers and sealed off the ports, cut down the size a little bit, and made it into my center channel. It actually has a really good sound. I plan on upgrading it with something with a little bit stronger full range, but until I find something that will actually do exactly what it does and better, I'll just keep it for now. I truly enjoy it. Screen, we'll play something in a little bit, but it is a projector screen that I was able to pick up for like $25 at a thrift store. As you can see down bottom, it's got a little bit of wrinkles in it. It's not actually on the screen section, but it is something that's a little bit of an irritation. So we'll be replacing the screen with probably a homemade screen. Maybe go with the silver paint that I've seen online, or possibly even just take this and turn it into a box where I could pull it tight and make an actual screen out of it. I haven't decided 100% yet. And if you look off to the side, we've got our Polk LS50s, not to be mistaken with the infamous KEF LH50s. that are about 10 times the cost. These sound incredibly good. I picked them up for like $60 on Facebook. Really like them. They've got really good highs, really good mids, and really good lows actually as well. And as we pan over past the other one, we've got a Onkyo SKW 100. It's an 8-inch powered sub. Sounds really good as well. This one's actually a filler sub. And as you can see down there, excuse the carpet and excuse the lack of baseboards. We're only 2 months into the build, so we're still working on some things. But the SKW 100, it actually sounds really good. It's a good filler speaker. It complements the other sub. And we'll kind of pan over to that right now. Well, actually, let's go back. Got the wine chiller. Gotta have a nice wine chiller. There's nothing in it just yet. And a bubblegum machine on top of it, also empty. But those are things that we plan on incorporating into the build at a later time. So if we scoot over to the Kenwood, I believe it's a Kenwood SW1050. But it's got a replacement sub in it. It's got a Dayton sub, and it sounds really good. I've seen some amazing subs online and on the forum, and in all honesty, for the size of this room, this just does an incredible job. I mean, it shakes the house. My wife complains, saying that I'm going to break stuff just because of how hard it hits, so no complaints. No need to go with anything a little bit more elaborate than that. And then we'll come back to the seating in just a second. But now let's look at the rear channel speakers are KLH. They're an in-wall setup. Pretty nice. I mean, they're decent. I plan to replace them with some Klipsch in-wall speakers, but this happened to be what I had on hand. KLH at one point was, I think, associated with Radio Shack way back in the day, but this was their high-end speaker at the time. Really enjoy it. And then for the rear channels, and this can function both as a rear height or as a rear surround, but I currently have them aimed as a more of like a side surround speaker. They're actually fully adjustable. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the angle on it that in order to see that you can adjust it. But I've got it set up with the DIY adjustment so that it actually aims towards the side. So it's more of a side surround speaker right now in my current setup. But those are LGs. They're off of a LG wireless setup, but mine ended up going wired just because I ended up rewiring the entire system. So it is what it is. We'll replace them and maybe sell the kit as a kit later on for a wireless rear surround with the LG soundbar. And then let's see, what do we have left? We slide back. Excuse the stickers on the wall. Those are my reflection points that I'm still working on. But as far as the seating, we've got just 3 seats. Nothing extravagant. Was able to pick these up for maybe $250, I think, at a local thrift store. Is 70% off. Got a really smoking deal on them. Got the concession stand over there. Got to work on that. It rattles a ton, so I'm probably going to have to redo that. But enjoying it. It's all about the theater experience. Got your exit sign. The exit sign is up there just for really authenticity. Every time you go to a theater, you see the exit sign, and it kind of sets things apart. And we've got our screen here. So, got it all set up to where we can hopefully quickly play a little something. Notice that I kind of have to align the screen more centered with the sconces. I'll do that once I do the actual screen that I plan to build for this particular setup. And then this one is my favorite of the Uh-oh. Actually, let's turn the lights off so we can get a better view of this. I'm going to pause it for a quick second here. Alright. I mentioned in another forum, or not in another forum, but another post, that the Cinemark XD was one of my favorite trailers, so I figure we'll play that, but we're going to turn the lights off before we do that. Leave it to me to have one of the cheapest builds, but one of the longest videos. Lost the keyboard here. I also picked up a Harmony One remote. Still playing around with that. If anybody has any tricks or tips on how to take advantage of that, I'd certainly appreciate it. Alright, so let's take a listen to the system. Obviously it's playing through a phone, so I don't know what the quality is going to be like, but it'll at least give you an opportunity to experience it a little bit.
What's the secret? It could be the Fargo DP 4K V-Series state-of-the-art projector, capable of delivering 35 trillion colors.
Turn the volume up.
It's the massive wall-to-wall 2.4 reflective gate, acoustically transparent
Probably
silver
gonna
screen. Or maybe
get in trouble here.
it's the immersive 3-layer 11.1 multi-channel speaker system. But to be honest, it's probably the unicorns.